What is up? Hello, heroes. I am super excited to jump on this call today. This is a tactical, practical call that I have been wanting to talk about for, gosh, it's probably been a couple years at least, but really the past 5 or 6 months as we started launching some of the things inside of our coaching platform, the Hero Edge. And it's 11 o'clock, so I want to get started, want to make sure that we're on and we are good. So let me ask you a question. So as you start to watch this, let me ask you a question. If I was to ask you specifically as an agent, a real estate agent, how much do you actually use every month? Like, what is the spend for the tools that you have in your business? What do I mean by that? We all have tools, hopefully. We have, Netris and MLS and your local board and all the tools that they give us. But then most of us also purchase certain tools that we use for automation, for contact management, like a CRM, website, maybe a landing page, maybe paid services that we have. Maybe you have a virtual assistant, a VA. Maybe you have an assistant that does some of this work. We have tools around the actual process of our business, whether it's like company like Dotloop or one of the other management companies that manages the transactions. I don't know what you got. I know that I have a lot, and I know that over the years, I have tried several tools to help me with my business, whether it was on the marketing side, whether it was on the business side, or just getting leverage. And one of the things that I wanted to discuss today is kind of what they call the creep. And the creep is when you buy something, you sign up for something, maybe you saw it on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and you're like, hey, that'd be really cool. And you do a free trial, right? And then maybe it's $15 a month, maybe it's $30 a month. No matter, it doesn't really matter what it is. And you go through the free trial, and maybe you never even open it, or maybe you open it but you don't implement the tool. You thought it was a great idea, but you just didn't. You didn't act on that particular purchase, and then that 30-day trial or a 15-day trial or 7-day trial goes away, and then you get charged, right? I don't know if that's you. I know me. I have done it over and over and over again, and over the years, and I could rack up quite a monthly bill buying gadgets and software and little plugins and things like that, trying to make my business better, or thinking that I was trying to make my business better. Well, in reality, most of the tools that I tried over the past years, I didn't use them to their capability. And it was very frustrating because at the end of every year, I would go through our business and I would look and see that, we'd have hundreds of dollars a month going out, just, kind of in the wind, things that I thought were a good idea. They probably were. And we just didn't implement it in our business. So how does that actually happen? Benjamin Franklin says, beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. A small leak will sink a great ship. It doesn't take long from a $25 a month bill or a $39 a month bill. Heck, if you don't have it in your business, you probably have it on a app that you watch movies on, right? And then we were talking about that the other day, that it used to be, we thought cable was expensive, and then they broke all that apart so that you could pick what you wanted, right? And then out of the blue, 4 or 5 years later, you wind up spending more money on these individual platforms than we did even on cable. So it's kind of that. And what I want to talk about today is how you can finally cut that out, and for the most part, not have to deal with that again as far as the actual tool. We'll talk about some options that we have, what I've been using, what I use in my coaching platform for agents, and then how you can be a part of that. So let's talk about numbers right now. And again, remember, this is going to be a more of a technical sessions. So there is going to be some motivation in it, but this is really, I want you to think about your business. I want you to take your credit card statement out, your bank statement, and start looking at all the things, all the apps that you spend every month. The Apple, when you just go, yes, I want that app, and oh, by the way, the upcharge is $9.99 a month, whether it's a captions or CapCut or some type of video editing software, whatever it is. But if you're not using it, right, it's just becomes a debt or an expense that is a lost expense. It'd be like buying a whole bunch of open house signs and never even doing an open house. I mean, what's the use if you're not going to actually put it in your business and get either leverage or more leads, or you have time where you're able to not do it yourself. With the invention of AI, I mean, I have a subscription to almost every AI platform, but I use it daily. I actually have it plugged into my system now. It's not what this is about, but so there are reasons why you would want to do these things. But then there's always this thing that, especially with the invention of AI, that we wind up having these legacy apps or these legacy tools that maybe are not as effective as they used to be, or you could get these done using another platform like AI to be able to, whether it's Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, to be able to do the same thing and do it quicker. Okay. So let's talk a little bit. Maybe you have a website and maybe you spend somewhere between $50 to $150 a month or more. Some people spend $1,000 a month on a website, depending on what you're wanting it to do, depending on what it is. A CRM, a customer relation management software. This is where all of your people should be put in, all of your past clients, your sphere, your leads, all of them should funnel into a centralized system called a CRM. And you may be charging, I mean, you may be paying 50 to 150 to 300. There's one out there in the real estate world that's almost $1,000 a month. Now, I'm not saying it's not worth it, but it's not worth it if you don't use it, right? So I encourage every agent, every service provider, really, anybody that's in the service business should have a centralized place online that they can get to on their phone or on their tablet or on their computer, so that when a lead comes in or somebody wants your service, you're not having to open up a spreadsheet or pull out your notebook. And there's still people that do that. And I'm not judging that. I'm just saying there is a better way, right? An email tool, maybe you use maybe you use one of the email tools that have the ability to be able to mass email your database and maybe that's in your CRM, maybe it's not. We know about all the brand names out there. They have different functions. They have different pluses and minuses. And the reality is as you start to build your marketing platform for your business, again, doesn't matter if it's real estate or if it's in title or if it's in inspections or if it's in lending, which is the majority of my audience of those people groups. You need a way to email your people on a regular basis. Matter of fact, if you're part of my group, my free coaching group, you get an email from me every Monday and every Friday. That is automated. Like, I create the email, but I don't actually send it out one by one. Most of us know this. Most of us get this. But if you're a real estate agent, you should be doing the same thing. That's part of your marketing platform. I heard a guy, I can't remember his name, last week, that said that he made, I remember who it is. I can't pronounce his name though. He said that he's made over $10 million this past year on an email list, from an email list. Now, he's a marketer. He's on social media. He's an influencer. You would know him if I told you his name. But he said he made $10 million just from his email list, being able to make offers, being able to ask questions, get in proximity of the people that actually can help him build his business. So I just say, if you're not taking advantage of your list, your email list, whether that's your past clients, your sphere, and being able to separate them from who they are, then you're trying to do marketing with both hands tied behind your back in the world that we live in. So maybe you have a scheduling link. Like for me, as a matter of fact, there's one in this description. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you get notified when we go live or when a new video drops. If you're watching this in Facebook or the Marketing Edge, our free Facebook group, make sure you go over to YouTube and like our YouTube channel, The Kevin Harris 1. We're trying to get traction on that. So I would appreciate the follow, and I'll follow you back on Instagram if you follow me on Instagram at the Kevin Harris one as well. So a scheduling link to be able to have someone click a link and then get on your actual calendar without you having to go, well, what about Thursday? Well, what about Wednesday morning? What about, and that it is a really, really good, I can't imagine running my business without several of these type of links based off of how how you interact and what you're asking for, whether it's a one-on-one conversation, whether it's a information call. Those are different ways of getting into my calendar. The only reason I say that is if you're an agent and you don't have a way to do that, it's in the world we live in. There's a saying with leads, which is speed to lead. And I mean, if you can't allow someone to get on your calendar as quick as possible, you're probably losing business. Okay. Because they're going, I always say this to realtors all the time. The person that you don't communicate with is still going to buy a house, still going to sell a house. They're still going to get an inspection. They're still going to get a contract into the title business. They're still, whatever it is you do, that person is still going to do the thing. They're just not going to do it with you because they couldn't get a hold of you. They couldn't get on your calendar, whatever it is. That's why these systems are so important, and the automation of these systems, so that when you're off, one of my business partners took a quick trip to Mexico. Shout out to her. She knows who she is. Didn't know about it until this morning, and she's already gone. And but I guarantee you, she's still doing business. I guarantee you, people still can get into her world if needed, because she's automated a lot of that. Okay, and then landing page. If you know what a landing page is, it's basically just like a product or a service. So if you're a buyer or a seller, click this link and download our free buyer's guide, or download our free listing checklist, so that when they click, they go to a landing page. You can collect their information, which is a lead, and then you are able to then communicate with them. And then a social scheduler. If you're doing social media at all, and you should be, you should have some type of schedule around when you're going to post, when you're going to maybe do all the content and then do all the editing, or when somebody's going to do it, if you have that leverage. And then when is it actually going to post? There should be some type of schedule, and there's all sorts of planners out there. And again, every one of these are separate out there. We've always been part of this system where you have to tie them together. There's an API is what it's called, or being able to connect the two, or copy paste and put it into the another system so that they can talk to each other, right? And because all these systems, they kind of came organically or through the need of people, and someone built a company around this particular part of what we do, and they were the best at what they did. And so there's usually 3 or 4, and one always rises to the top as being the easiest to use, that kind of stuff. Zapier is another company that you can link these things together. And that's what you did. When I started selling media stuff with our media company, media services, we had to link 5 different platforms just so we could communicate with people as they came into our ecosystem. They came into as a lead, and we were able to then call them, text them, email them, and have a sequence of talking to them until they were ready to get on a call. I say that to say, well, you have to link all that through what they call API or Zapier. And if you know this, high five, great job. I'm impressed. Most of my agents that I talk to, they have never been exposed to that type of language. That's why I'm kind of breaking it down. And then the last thing, obviously, is like a texting platform. These can be, and texting platform would just be a way to mass text your clients. Like you're having an event, maybe you're doing an open house, and you've gotten approval for them to text you. You have the ability to then just send one text instead of having to copy paste all the way through it. Why am I talking about all this? Because usually those numbers, when you start adding up all those type of platforms, you're somewhere between $400 to $700 a month. Okay. So let me 400 to 700 or more. Okay. And that's not including ad spend, things like that. But um, I know several agents that spend well into the couple thousand dollars for all the systems that they use just for marketing and just for reaching out to clients and staying in contact with them and planning their open house videos and all that kind of stuff. They have these systems and they're spending thousands of dollars a month, if not very minimally 400, 500 to $600 a month. Well, in our business, that's one of the things I talk about all the time with agents is I want you to get consistent in your business by raising what I call your floor. Most agents' floors, if you look at statistics, most agents' floors, what I mean by floors is what they do every single month, like what's their base, unfortunately, is like zero. I mean, if you look at statistical numbers, most agents can go a month or two without a closing. My goal as a real estate coach, as a business coach, is to help you build your floor up to one or two a month minimum. That way, you know you're going to get some type of revenue every single month and get a little bit more consistent. But even if you don't have that, when you close 4 or 5 deals, are you taking that money back and putting it across a 12-month calendar so that you know you're going to have money every month, not just to live, but to also scale and build your business? Because one of the things that agents are notorious for, and you've heard me say this if you've been in my coaching sessions, is that they don't treat their business like a business. It's one of the reasons why I built the communities that we started launching, and I'll talk about one of them here in a little bit. But the Hero Edge, Piney Woods, the Hero Edge, Coastal Virginia. These are because I've been around vendors for now going on 5 years. Been in the title business for several years. Now back into the real estate game. But one of the things I would tell you is that most of your vendors, most of your business partners is what I call them, actually treat their business. They have to treat their business like a business. Like they actually have to have a brick and mortar. They have to have revenue so that they can then pay their employees and their if you're in the title business, you have escrow officers, you have front desk, you have marketing reps, and then you have people that run it. You have lawyers and all this kind of stuff. Inspection companies, you start off with one guy. They call it a chuck in a truck, but then they expand and now they have people who answer the phones. They have office managers, they have schedulers, they have marketers, they have other inspectors that they help. So they build their business this way, right? Most realtors don't do it that way. Most realtors, they go from paycheck or from commission to commission or compensation. And that's kind of how they live their business. And then they wonder why their business is not steady. You wonder why you don't have a consistent amount of leads. You wonder why you don't have a consistent amount, because you put no systems in place. And I'm not saying it's you. So if you're watching this, you're like, that's not me. Well, then just put not me in the comment section. Because that's great. You're one of the exception. You're one of the 5% that actually treat their business like a business. But most agents, one of the biggest reasons they fail, and I think it's over 81% of all agents get out of the business in 5 years. That's a horrible statistic, considering how much school you go through and how much money you put out on the front end to become an agent just to get out within 3 to 5 years. But after coaching thousands of agents, I'll tell you that it has nothing to do with what they think it does. That most people think I can't do this because I'm not good looking, or I don't speak well, or I don't know a lot of people. It has nothing to do with any of that, because I can show you somebody who started there in the same spot and now is successful. The biggest reason why most agents get out of the business is because they do not build a business. Okay. They never build a business. They just go from commission to commission. I'm on a mission to change that. I'm on a mission to build communities across the nation that will truly partner your business partners, your vendors who actually build a business, partner with them and help each other build these businesses. Okay. And the real estate agent is the tip of the spear. They're the one who is having the relationships. They're the ones who are meeting the clients who ultimately are buying or selling or investing in real estate. And so the real estate agent should be the one who builds a really sustainable business. And then all the vendors, all the business partners then get to benefit from that as your relationships are built. Well, If you're spending $400 or $500 or $700 a month, especially if you have all these tools. Now, if you don't have all these tools, I get it. You may not be spending that much, but I would tell you probably need these tools. Matter of fact, I would tell you need these tools. But I call it the tool graveyard because hardly anybody uses them the way they should use them, or at least to the same capacity that they should be using them. Because if they're using them the way they should be getting leads, or they should be getting leverage. Okay, so that's the two things that you're looking for when you buy anything: is leads or leverage. So let me explain. Let me pivot and talk to you a little bit about what is the solution? Because now it's, we're 20 minutes into this call and I haven't talked about the solution. Well, there's a solution out there and I didn't come up with it. It's not my platform, although many people build a platform on this platform like we have. But if you're ever familiar with a company called Salesforce, my son works for Salesforce, and it is a huge data. Man, I know I'm going to not explain it accurately because I don't work for them. But basically, they take care of all the systems, the ads, the communication, all that with big giant companies, or bigger companies anyway. And it's not inexpensive. Okay, they build everything pretty much custom, and it's a great company. But there's really, to this point, have never really been something out there like that for small business, for people who are just wanting to build. And I mean, we're talking millions of dollars of business, but still it's small, under 30 people on their payroll, 0 to 30, but needing all that type of infrastructure. And then along came a company called Go High Level. Now, you may have heard of Go High Level. You may not have. That's okay. If you want a 30-day free trial, there's a link in my bio. You can click it. Yes, it's an affiliate link, so I get a percentage of that if you decide to stay on, and I would probably say you would. But before you do that, let me explain about what else we have to offer. But in Go High Level, GHL, there's a lot of great tools in there. Matter of fact, every tool that I talked about earlier, you can do it inside of GHL. Okay. You can build your websites, you can build your funnels, you can build your texting campaigns, your email campaigns, you can build your link tree, you can build all these things that maybe you're paying $5 for, $10 for. I saved close to $900 a month by switching to this platform. Okay. And this was years ago. I don't know what you would save, so I'm not saying that that's how much you would save, but that was my number. And we then started building my systems on top of it, my marketing systems, my coaching systems. Our real estate business is built in there. As I started coaching, I realized one of the biggest problems I have with coaching agents specifically is that a lot of them don't even have a CRM. They don't have a platform. Like, they don't have one of the big companies that we all hear about in our real estate world, or maybe their brokerage doesn't provide them one. And so they never get to a point where they're actually automating anything. They're just going from deal to deal. And I was frustrated for many years because they would ask me, I'd have questions being asked about, well, what do you think about this system? What do you think about this system? What do you think about this CRM? What do you think about this CRM? And really, the standard answer that you hear from any coach or anybody is the best CRM is the one you use. Okay. And that's a pretty cliche-ish thing. And I would tell you it is accurate, but I would also tell you that is not actually true. The best CRM is the one you use, and it actually helps you get business, helps you leverage your business. And not every CRM does that. And that's fine. You may not care about that, but with JHL, it does everything. Now, here's the problem with it. Here's the knock on it. You have to be pretty techie. You don't have to be like a programmer or anything, but you got to understand, and you got to do a lot of work learning how to put your systems in and how to build your systems. Now, there's a lot of great training on the back end. It's a huge community. They have a meetup every single month in Dallas and Fort Worth that I go to, and a lot of great people are part of this community. Hundreds of thousands of people use this system. in the marketing space. It's recently started coming into the real estate space, probably in the past year or two. But with the invention of AI and the being able to go on top of GHL, it has become a pretty powerful tool for people who use it. But again, the problem is most agents are not that techie. They don't want to build anything. They just want to use it. Okay. They don't want to build the website. They don't want to build email campaigns. They don't want to build automations. They don't want that's not what they want to do. If you want to do all that, you want to learn how to do it, and you have time in your schedule to do it, then click the link that says GHL and sign up for a 30-day free trial. And I'll give you some templates that we've built, and we'll be in, we'll be in business together. Okay. It doesn't cost you any more to use the link, but I'm just saying, if you want to do all that, well, you can. Okay, you can do just what I did, or we've created a CRM called the Beacon, sits on top of Go High Level, and so what it is we've gone into the real estate world and into the vendor world and said, hey, we're going to give you the systems, we're going to connect a lot of this, not all of it. You still have access to do all the things that you want. This is not a advertisement, by the way. I just wanted to mention it because this solves the problem I wanted to talk about today, which is, I need a calendar link, I need a website, I need a landing page for my open house, I need whatever it is. You can do everything inside of one system, one login, one system, and they all talk to each other, and they all communicate with each other, and you can see the dashboard that tells you when people open your emails, which ones are not opening them, which ones click, all the things that you need to have a good marketing business for your real estate business. You can use the Beacon and Go High Level. Now, the Beacon is, like I said, it sits on top of Go High Level, but it's built specifically for our coaching group. I don't sell it outside of our coaching group. It's part of our coaching group. If you choose to be part of the coaching group, the paid coaching group, it's not very much. But I just want to be able to talk the same language to the people that I coach. I want to be able to help come alongside and not just tell you how to do FSBOs, tell you how to do expireds, tell you how to do and coach you on how to do open houses, although all of that's part of the coaching. But I want to help you actually execute. What do you do with those leads once you get them? How do you nurture them? Are you writing emails? Are you relying on, a text that you're having to create every time? Well, automating that allows you to do more of it and not have to worry. And here's the great thing about it. If you're partnered with our coaching company, what we're going to do is, or what we've done is, now we've started putting systems in place on the back end and dropping like an email sequence for first-time home buyers. Here you go. And it automatically drops into your system. So if you're watching this and if you're interested, there's a link in my bio, or there's a link in the comment section to schedule a 20-minute call. No pressure. If you just want to sign up but don't sign up for Go High Level if you're thinking you want to be part of the coaching program, because you're going to get that as part of the coaching program. There's no need to get your own account unless you want, and then have to build it yourself, because we're going to go ahead and help you build it on the coaching side. And I say that to say, it doesn't matter to me whether you decide to use Go High Level or another CRM or another website company, does not matter. But I would tell you, you need to have a distinct way of being able to track how much you spend and understand that the world of tech that we're going through with the invention of AI and being able to link AI into these systems, it's going to get faster and faster, and it's going to get more automated and not more automated. And the people who do not stay up with that are going to fall further and further behind, especially real estate agents, because people who use these systems are going to be able to communicate faster. They're going to be able to communicate better, and they're going to be able to get to that lead, give them what they're looking for, schedule an appointment, and then go help them buy or sell a house. And they're going to do it quicker and faster. And you're going to, if you're not doing this, you're going to think, how do they do it so quick? It's through systems like this. So again, we're launching, we're going to be launching this month, the Hero Edge DFW. I've had hundreds of agents in our group for years now, and we're officially launching the actual community here in DFW like we have in the other markets, and we'll be launching in other areas later this year. So if you are a vendor, business partner, in our group or watching this, or if you are a real estate agent in the DFW area, make sure you watch out in the Marketing Edge. Make sure you see on my channels, the Kevin Harris on this YouTube channel. You're going to see a bunch of stuff as we start to do it. And here's the great thing about the community for any agent. It's free. The community is free because I partner with the business, but our vendors to bring it to you. Okay. So we're going to have monthly meetups, maybe even weekly. We're going to have masterminds. And this is a supplemental to any training or coaching that you're currently getting with your brokerage. I'm not trying to replace your brokerage. I'm just trying to help you become consistent in your business. That is my goal. That's my hope for you. God's put something on my heart that I'm executing on, and this is part of that. And I want to help a lot of people own their own business, become successful, whatever that means to them. And then by doing that, get to help their world become the hero in their own story, which is what my tagline is and what my coaching company is about. Okay. So, and that doesn't mean you're going to be making millions of dollars, although it might. Okay. But most people, they don't want to build. I talked about this last week. They don't want to necessarily go through the work of building a big 7 or 8 figure company. There are people out there, and I can help you with that as well. But I'm really, really wanting to help the people from my background, blue collar, maybe not a lot of formal education, to be successful in the financial world, in their real estate world, so that they can then change the lives and the trajectory of their family and their future by becoming a hero in their own story. So if you want to know more, click the link, join our Facebook group, the Marketing Edge. The link will be in the comment section as well. If you're part of the Marketing Edge, or if you're part of the Edge Collective community, know that this will be recorded, and it's also the action plan, and all the show notes are going to be in there as well. You guys have a blessed rest of your week. This is our Monday call. My name is the Kevin Harris. You can find me all over social. If you want to speak to me about coming to your area, speaking at your conference, speaking at your area, I would love to be able to talk to you about that. We're actively trying to fill the calendar for the remainder of the year and next year. So I'm going to be in Tyler, Texas, and July 29th for our soft launch of our community, teaching 2 CE classes that I've written. And so I would love to see you there if you're going to be in the Tyler area or anywhere around there. And again, heroes are not born, they are built. So go build your hero story. You guys have a blessed week. Peace and love.